Hi, I'm Steve Mace from Solwise, and what I'm going to do now is start a series of videos which discuss and go through the Wi-Fi management solution from IP Comm. So this is a management solution built around a series of controllers. There are several controllers. The three main controllers are the AC1000, 2000 and 3000, but also they have built in some AP management into some of the other router products as well. But I shall be concentrating mainly on these three main controller products. The difference between them comes down to the number of access points they can manage and extra features, for example, some sort of cloud management setup, and also different levels of captive portal user login type administration built into the products. So those are the three products, and they work with the all of the current new generation of IP Comm access points. And for example, here I'm going to be playing around with the little on the wall one, which is the AP255, and I've just gone down to stock and grabbed a couple of the dual band AP355s to use in these videos. And I shall be powering them through an IP Comm G1009 gig PoE switch. So that's the hardware that I shall be using in this series of videos, and what I'll do is I'll go through each product in turn, say from the simple AC1000 going up to straight up to the big butch 3000, and I'll be perfectly frank, it will be a learning curve for me as well, because some of these products, particularly 3000, does a lot of different things. It's actually a very, very powerful piece of kit, designed for thousands and thousands of access points, and the captive portal, which is really sort of an ad pushing system in it. We're talking about an ad system and user monitoring of it's something stupid like 50,000 users or something. So a colossally powerful piece of kit. And I will be perfectly frank, it's staggeringly overkill for 99.999. All right, it's staggeringly overkill for all of our customers. I haven't dealt with a single customer ever that actually wants to control thousands of access points and tens of thousands of users. But it does have some other nice little features in it which are actually equally applicable to the smaller size organization. So we're talking about somebody here with, let's say, up to a few hundred access points and up to 1,000 or so users. So it's got a very, very nice features for ad pushing to the clients, to the connected clients. But all three units I shall discuss in more detail with the following videos. So let's get on with that. Okay, so let's go through the functions and features of the IP Comm AC2000 Wi-Fi controller. So this is the middle of the range of the products. We have the 1000 at the bottom, which off the top of my head I think does 128 access points. So we've got the 2000, the model I'm going to cover now, up to 512, though I believe out of the box it only comes configured for 256 access points. And in another video I'll go on and start talking about the 3000, which is the big beastie, but this is about the 2000. So the 2000 really expands over the on the AC1000 by allowing you to manage and configure a high number of access points, as I say, potentially up to 512. But it also brings in a new feature, which is a captive portal function. Now, the captive portal function is really intended as an ad pusher. So by that I mean, what happens is when you try to connect to the Wi-Fi, what will actually happen is you have to go through a series of viewing some adverts. So in that respect, it's really aimed at things like hotels and cafes and that sort of thing. So it's the places where people don't necessarily want to charge for their Wi-Fi, but they do actually want to present the connected person with a slideshow of adverts before they can actually gain access. So I say it's an ad pushing portal really. So let's go through the function of the AC2000. So I'll click on there. So the first thing you'll notice, different from my normal videos, is I'm doing this in a Microsoft browser. I believe this is Microsoft Edge. It's whatever comes with Windows 10 anyway. Now the reason is because under Firefox, the captive portal screens, the setup screens for the captive portal, don't seem to work very well. Don't quite know why, but life's too short. I'll just change over to using Microsoft Edge for the purpose of this configuration video. Whether it works in any of the other browsers like Chrome, I don't know, but I'll stick with Microsoft Edge. I can put up with a little bit of hardship for a sort of 20 minutes or something. So, the default IP address of the AC2000, just like the AC1000, is 192.168.10.1. And the default login is admin and admin. Enter. So just like the AC1000, as soon as the AC2000 has started up, it immediately detected there are 3 access points on the network, and it's assigned them an IP address out of its private range. Remember, just like the AC1000, the AC2000 also acts as a DHCP server for the access points that are on the network. Only the access points, not the clients, just the access points. And you can see there are 3 access points detected here, and it's showing the default SSID that they've actually been configured with. So the way you configure the access points on the AC2000 is you have a series of policies. So we've got a manage policy, and there are a few policies that we have to create. So once we've created these policies, we can then apply them to a selection of the access points. So the first one is an SSID policy. There is one by default, but ignore that. I'll just go straight to add to create a new one. And we have to give the policy a name. Test SSID, and I'll give it and the SSID name, also test SSID. For security, I'll just go straight to WPA2, and I'll put a rather non-imaginative password in there. Other functions we've got down here are client isolation, whether you want the SSID hidden, and the option to put a VLAN tag on this particular SSID. I'm going to leave all that as default. I'm going to click on save. So now we've created our SSID, and we can go to radio policy. Yet again, sorry, there's a default one there, but I'll ignore that. And we'll go straight to add for a new one. I'll call it test radio. I can't spell radio. There we go. So there are 2 sections. There's a 5 gig section and there's a 2.4 gig section. So let's go through the 2.4 gig section first of all. You'll probably want to change the country to England. Bandwidth, let's set it to auto, so it'll automatically sort itself out. Channel leave auto. As far as the transmit power is concerned, obviously the UK is 20 dBm EIRP, so that includes the antenna gain. Most of these access points have got a 3 dB antenna, so really that should be 17, because 17 plus 3 equals 20. We've got an RSSI threshold, so what that basically means is if the access point using this radio policy detects a client signal drops below 90, then it will be kicked off, hence forcing the client to look around and try and find something better to look for. Minus 90 is a very, very weak signal, very, very poor. You may want to, in practice, probably take that up to maybe minus 80, maybe even higher, maybe minus 75 or something like that. But obviously, whatever you do with the RSSI threshold, you have to make sure that there's adequate AP coverage so the client's got something to hop across to. Normal thing, you've got SSID isolation, and time age for client. Yeah, okay. I admit, don't know what that means, so I shall ignore it. So that's the 2.4 gig. We've got the 5 gig radio. Similar bunch of settings. We change it to England. 11AC, 80 meg bandwidth, which is what you would need for 11AC. As far as the transmit power is concerned, well, the UK limit for band B is 30 dBm, so we're fine at the maximum of 21. And the only extra function you've got down here is we've got this 5 gig priority, which basically means it will try to do some sort of band steering. So if a dual band client tries to connect to 2.4, it'll try to encourage the client to move over to the 5 gig band instead, hence freeing up channel space on the 2.4. Save. So that's our radio policy created. Excuse me, got a cough this morning, sorry. Now, other things on here, we've got a Vlan policy, which I'll just show you what it looks like. I don't really want to start playing with VLANs, because whenever I play with VLANs, things start to go wrong. But you can enable or disable AP VLAN, and you can also play around with the VLANs on the LAN ports on it. I'm not going to pretend I understand that. I say whenever I start playing with VLANs, things start dying, so I'm going to cancel that. And we have maintenance policies. Just go through these. There are 4 different types of maintenance policies. We've got this one here, which basically says, do you want the LEDs to turn off at certain times of day? We've got this one here. This one's actually quite a useful one. It's a policy whereby if things go wrong, you can get emailed about it. Administrator can get emailed. So we have AP failure, AP traffic exceeding limit that you can put a value in there, and an AP client limit that you can put a value in there. So that's quite a useful policy. So all you do is obviously enable it and put in the SMTP server details at the top there. So that's quite a good one. Admin policy, how to change username and password for getting into configuration. I won't worry about that. Deployment policy. This allows you to tune the system as to whether you want maximum RF capability steered towards maximum coverage or maximum density. So it does depend upon what you're trying to do as far as the coverage of the access points is concerned, but you can actually tune the coverage or high density optimization there. So that's the maintenance policies, but the 2 key ones I say are the SSID policy and the radio policy. So what we have to do is, once we've created our policies, we then have to apply them to our selection of access points. So if I click on Manage AP, that's the next tick box down. Select the access points. I'm going to do it to all of them in this case. Go to SSID setting, and for the 2.4 I'm going to select the test SSID, and for the 5 gig I'm going to select the test SSID. Or what I should probably mention is we have 4 optional SSIDs for the 5 gig, and on the 2.4 gig we have up to 8 individual SSIDs. So each SSID can actually have its own policy or carry on using the same policy. So that's quite a nice function. Click on Save, and we go to RF setting, and we select the RF policy. Well, we've only created one, so click on that one. So that is the configuration of the access points done. We've now applied our SSID and radio policies that we've just created to those access points. We haven't bothered with any of the other policies like the VLAN and the alerts and the deployment policies. We won't worry about any of those, not for the purpose of this video. The main thing is SSID and radio. So that's our access points configured. Now, what we can do is, I could go through and show you the captive portal, but I'll just show you the other features first of all, and then we'll go back to the captive portal. Because the captive portal is the new one as far as this product is concerned. The AC1000 didn't have captive portal. That's the unique feature of the 2000. We've got user status, usual screen that you expect to see. So it tells you about connected clients, their MAC address, terminal type, signal level, etc. Obviously we haven't got any connected clients, so there's nothing really exciting to show you on that screen. We've got user statistics. So basically it'll give us stats on the connected users. As you can see, today's users, yesterday's users, new users, monthly users. and stats on here for connected clients. Now we haven't got any at the moment, so I can't really show you anything exciting down there. And it even shows this nice little sexy pie chart here. Yet again, we've got no connected clients, but you can see how you'd have little coloured sections of your pie depending upon what sort of connected client it was and how often they connected and that sort of thing. Let's go to System Tools. Quickly show you System Tools. So System Tools, you've got a normal status screen showing you how long it's been up and the network information, etc. Network settings. So with this one, you can put internet settings in. Now the internet settings become pertinent if you are going to use this AC2000 as a sub-controller of a cloud controller out there on the internet. As I mentioned with the 1000, the 2000 can actually be used as a sub-controller. So what that means is you can have a master controller, which would be, for example, an AC3000 product at HQ, and it can manage and control remote subcontrollers like the AC1000 or the AC2000. So under those circumstances, obviously this unit would have to be able to see the internet, to see the master controller through the internet. We've got the LAN settings that you give this actual controller, and I say the controllers do actually act as a private DHCP server just for the access points. So this is where you actually put in the DHCP server settings that you want to dish out to the access points. And at the bottom you can play around with the VLAN tagging of the LAN ports on the controller. DHCP list for the access points, won't worry about that. Maintenance, usual, you work for the bottom upwards, so you've got the reboot and reset. You can change the username and password to get into the controller configuration. This is what I mentioned, whereby you can actually set this as a sub-controller or a cloud controller. So you can actually set this as a cloud controller to manage and look after a number of remote controllers. They could either be 1000 or 2000 user devices, or you can actually use it as a sub-controller, so it itself is managed by another cloud controller. And obviously this is asking you details of the IP address of how to actually get to that cloud controller, and the management port that you actually want it to use. And at the top here we have the number of licenses. By default it comes out of the box only able to control up to 256 access points, but if you contact Solwise, we can actually get you a software license upgrade to go to 512. My feeling is 256 is probably going to be good for 99.99% of users anyway. And the usual things like set the date time, which has the same as set for Beijing. You probably want to change that, I suppose, for something a bit closer to home. Edinburgh, London. You've got the usual system log, and we've got the usual ping and trace route functions built into the controller. So what I've done there is I've gone through all of the features and functions which are pretty much identical to the 1000. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you where the 2000 has a big change over the 1000. That's the captive portal. Now, as I say before, I think the captive portal is really more of an ad pushing portal. It doesn't do sophisticated stuff. It doesn't do things like Facebook logging. It doesn't do PayPal charging, email harvesting. It doesn't do any of that sort of stuff. It really is a way of just actually hitting the connected client with a slideshow of adverts. And for that function, I think it does it quite well. So what we have to do is, first of all, we have to create an ad. So we have to enable the function. There is a default ad there by default, but I'll ignore that and just go straight to add. And there are 3 basic templates for screen design that we can use. Each template is, as you can see, is laid out slightly differently, and some of them have different options on them. So for example, template 1 and template 2 do actually have a little box for you to put in a voucher code. I'll show you the voucher code later on. So you can put a voucher code in for those, whereas template 3 is a no password, no voucher type screen. All it does is just hit you with a slideshow of adverts. So let's do the simple one first of all, which is template 3. That's the one without any voucher logging in. We have to give it a name. Let's call it template 3. There we go. Do you want it to, when the users, after the user's actually gone through the process, do you want them to reconnect to their original URL or to a specific one? I'll leave it go to a URL, original one. You can put a copyright message on the screen if we want. Might as well put something in there. Now we come down to the actual adverts. So it's a slideshow of adverts. You can have up to 4 adverts presented to the client. So these are done as a slideshow with approximately 10 seconds per slide. And what we have to do is we click on Add Image to add a slide, select Image. There we go. And for example, we can pick that advert there. So that's basically just a JPEG I've pinched off our website. Give it a name, AC1000, and we have to tick on this box here, this little tick sign to enable that. So now we've got our first advert in our slideshow, and we can do another one. And let's click on, let's do the 2000. Here we go. That's uploaded into the box. Give it a name, and we have to click that tick to enable that. So what we've done now is loaded up into the system 2 images that will be presented to the connected client as a slideshow. What we can also do is add a series of hot link buttons on the slideshow. So these could be key sites that you want the user to be able to go to. It could be information about local attractions, information about the hotel or whatever, or a menu showing fantastic foodstuffs available today. Whatever. I'll show you how it works. You click on Add Navigation. You have to give the hot link a name. So this will be presented on the screen. Solwise, for example. We have to put in a link for it, www.solwise.co.uk, and we have to click on that. Now, if you're going to use these, you must have remembered that under System Tools, you needed to actually put in the internet details for the controller. The controller needs to know how to get to the internet if it's going to have to go to the internet for these navigation links. Let's put another one in. Let's do IP-comm and www.ip-comm.co.uk. For example, click on tick. So now we should see 2 buttons on the end, on the actual ad screen. And so the only authorization allowed for this particular template is no password. So I'm going to click on OK for that. So that's our template 3, and what we can do, if we click on preview, we can see what this will look like. Click on preview. There you go, and you see there are 2 buttons at the top. We've got the Solwise, we've got the IP-comm navigation buttons, and all it's got to do is show those 2 slides, and when it's finished showing them, the connected client will click on this button here to be connected to the internet. So that's what that template looks like. So let's quickly show you what the other templates look like. I'll click on Add, create another one. We've got a template 2. I'll give it a name, template 2. Now, differences. You can actually choose to have a logo shown on the screen. Let's see if I can find anything that, well, okay. I don't know if I've got a logo on my screen. I think it's going to complain some of that. This is probably too big. No, it worked. Copyright. I'm just thinking actually we might well find that that logo ends up being bigger than the whole screen. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Solwise Limited. We can do our ads again, so we'll do the same 2 ads that we did before. That one, tick, AC1000, tick, add another one, select image, AC2000, tick, AC2, 1, 2, 3, and tick. So that's our 2 adverts, and we'll put a button on as well. So we'll just www.solwise.co.uk, tick. Yeah, again, just reminding you that if you're going to put navigation links on, you must remember to have set up all the IP settings for default gateway and DNS, everything in the system tools. And the reason I'm saying that is because we have had phone calls, people trying to use this and banging their head why it doesn't work. .co.uk, click on that. So this one actually enables us now to have also the option of a portal login. Now, portal login means it will try to redirect you to one of these third-party portal hotspot services. Now, none of the third-party portal hotspot services are applicable to the UK, so you can forget about that altogether. However, you can actually do Voucher. Voucher means it'll you can pre-generate a little voucher with a password on it, and the user has to actually enter and type that in before they can leave the ad pushing page. So that's quite good. It does mean that I've got some control who you're dishing the internet connection out to. So I'll click on Voucher for that, and I'll click on OK. So that's template 2. Yeah, again, we can click on preview and see what that one will look like. Now, the first thing you notice is that the screen is very elongated. So it does actually tell you on that previous page how big the screen is going to be. So you make sure that you choose the proportions of your images so they don't look daft and stupid like they do here. Anyway, that's what the screen generally looks like. That's our logo on the top left. Obviously, it'd be better if it had been something like Solwise Limited or IP Comm or something. On the right, we have our 2 hotlink buttons that we created, our navigation buttons. And at the bottom, we've got the box in where we can actually put in a voucher code. I'll show you voucher codes later on. So that's template 2. So let's show you template 1. What I'll do is I'll actually edit this one and click on template 1, and so that's changed to template 1 design now. It's pretty much all the same information, but it just looks a bit different. So I'll leave everything else exactly the same as it is, and I'll click on OK. And now if I click on preview, we can actually see what a template 1 looks like. So that's a template 1. As you can see, a little bit different. The slideshow actually scrolls up, and you've got buttons here that the user can actually click to each of the slideshow images. There are the hot links at the top and the logo in the top left, and click on there, and they've also got the capability to actually enter their voucher code there. So that's what the other template looks like. So those are the 3 templates. Now, once you've created templates, what you have to do is you have to create an ad push. So I'll click on there, and I'll show you what an ad push means. Click on add. So with an ad push, we can choose the SSID, the ad that we've created, and we can choose which type of clients the ad will be pushed to. Now, this is quite a unique feature. I haven't seen this before. So what that means is you can design adverts for certain type of client devices. So in this case, you've got PCs, Windows phones, Android or Apple products, iOS products. So you can actually tune adverts depending upon the terminal type. Now, obviously, let's do something extreme. You could have a shop in the village or something, or in the town or something that sells Apple products. So you could say, right, what I want to do is anybody who connects to this one, you see this advert, which is specifically telling you all about the shop down the street that actually sells Apple products, that sort of thing. So you can actually tune the who actually receives the advert. So that's quite nice. I quite like that. Click on OK. So that's it. That's our ad essentially created. We've created the ad and we've set up the pushing functionality to it. So who will receive that advert? So this is saying anybody who connects to Test SID of any terminal type will receive or have to go through the advert that we call template 3. So let's go to global settings, show you what that means. So to quickly run through these, how often they have to reauthorize. The default is forever, so once they've authorized once, they don't have to authorize again. You can set a timeout for how long they can actually connect for. When they reauthorize, are they redirected to a page, or do they just have to go through the normal reauthorization? We've got the external portal. The portal, as far as I know, doesn't work in the UK, so forget about that. And Mac whitelist down here. So that means basically which type of clients don't have to go through authorization. And the reason you've got that is you might have things like IP cameras or something like that, which are using the Wi-Fi, and obviously you don't want them to have to go through the authorization. And we'll go straight now to Voucher. So this is the Voucher. Okay. So as it says, there's a generate voucher link. This link is used to generate voucher to print to be ticket for the guest. Rather, a bit strange Chinese English. What sort of ticket do you want to produce, the validation period, the expiry time for the ticket, any remark you want to put on it, a logo that you may or may not want to put on the ticket. And this is just giving you an example of what the actual voucher will look like. So you can create vouchers and print them out using that link there. Okay, so let's click on that, for example. I'll show you what we're looking like. So there you go. That's all it is. So you click on generate code and then you can print it. Nice and simple. So you can go through and print off a pile of voucher codes for your for your clients. So that's the ad pushing function. So that is the main way that 2000 differs from the 1000, and that's the ad pushing function, which I think is really good. I say it doesn't do things like social media logging and all that sort of thing, but if you just want a simple system whereby clients can get hit with a slideshow of adverts before they connect and possibly go through a quick voucher entry to actually gain access, I think it's really good. So that's the AC2000. As you can see, a worthwhile improvement over the AC1000, I think. Thank you.